Saquon Barkley has officially become the most hated man in New York because he signed a 3-year, $37.75 million contract with the NFC East rival Philadelphia Eagles. Giants fans are very, very upset with Saquon, but I don't think they should be whatsoever based on stuff that's coming out between what happened with Saquon and the Giants organization. But I want to know, are you surprised that Saquon decided, you know what, let me pack my bags up, go a little bit down the road, and join the rival in my own division, the Philadelphia Eagles? Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. I thought he was disrespected by the Giants. I don't know what the Giants are thinking about. He was the best player they had on offense for the last couple of years, and he deserved to. They dissed him with the franchise tag, and he gave up on that because he wanted to be in training camp, and he got the 1-year deal with what was it worth about?
It was the same with $900,000
more, and now he gets a 3-year, almost $38 million contract with the Eagles, and the Giants are going to suffer for it. I think he's going to come back there. With their the offensive line the Eagles have, he could be the leading rusher in the NFL next year. He definitely could. Look how good DeAndre Sweat did with them, right? He was not the big a name, and he played well with the Eagles because he got such a good offensive line, number 1 in the NFL. And I think the Giants now, they signed Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary. Come on, that's a step down from Saquon Barkley. It is a little surprising that the Eagles signed him to such a big deal. They don't generally do that with their running backs. They rarely give. Deuce Staley was the last running back that got the contract bigger than this. He got $45 million years ago. So it is surprising the Eagles signed him, but they see him as a multi-threat player. He's a great runner, a decent receiver, and a good blocker. So I think he'll have a career year. I think he'll be right up there in terms of total yards for a player next year, and I'm happy for him. I think he could win. He could get up to $46 million, almost $47 million in this with this contract, and he got $26 million guaranteed. He's going to a team that has a much better offensive line. Look how well he did with the Giants. They had nothing for an offensive line. There was never a hole to run through, and he found a way to get over 1,000 yards there and added to it with his receiving abilities. So, good for the Eagles, bad for the Giants. He winds up in their division. He's going to be hell-bent when he goes to play against them. He's going to have some big games, and the Giants are going to be hearing about it.
Absolutely. So what I find crazy is that Giants fans, I understand that you might be going to your rival, but including Tiki Barker, former Giants running back, said, "You're dead to us, Saquon. Good luck. You're dead to me." I don't understand why Giants fans are upset with Saquon. What came out about this situation and this situation alone is the Giants never even offered Saquon a contract with them for this offseason. They franchise tagged him last season, wouldn't give him the $12 or $14 million he was asking. And this time around, I expected him to get franchise tagged again, and we'd be in this process of, will Saquon sign it, blah, 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 blah. Turns out, the Giants just didn't even decide to give him any offer. Let him go completely. And decided to follow up the news with, "Hi, Giants Nation. We're going to sign Devin Singletary to replace Saquon Barkley." What? Hello? Gary Brightwell is the backup. So it's not like you had options. It's not like you had the next great guy right behind Saquon to take over his place. You had nobody. So now in an offense, and while, yes, you did sign a couple offensive pieces like Jermaine Illuminor and John Runyon for the offensive line, Andrew Thomas is still there, obviously, and John Michael Schmitz needs to develop. He was a rookie last year. Evan Neal is still on your team, the worst tackle, arguably, in the NFL. You have no running game now. Saquon was your only, bright spot in a rather dark offense. And then you also just don't have any wide receivers. So you still have a bad offensive line, no running game, a horrible quarterback on a completely overpaid contract that you need to stick with for at least one more season, and also a tight end contemplating retirement in Darren Waller. No, but don't worry, Giants fans. We signed Brian Burns. We gave up this year's second round and next year's fifth, I believe, to go out and get Brian Burns to team up with Dexter Lawrence as well as Kayvon Thibodeau. So in my mind, the first thing when I heard that these moves are, okay, they're going to try to go play 90s and early 2000s football and try to win every game 7-3. The thing is, the Giants aren't built to be a lockdown team, and Daniel Jones is still your quarterback. So the offense may put up 7 points, but I think any offensive line that could slow down the pass rush of Brian Burns or Dexter Lawrence, or even just give whatever quarterback they're playing an extra half second, I think they can still beat the crap out of the Giants. Because when it's all said and done, as you've said countless times with several of my quarterback arguments, the quarterback holds on to the ball every single play. And in the Giants' case, it's Daniel Jones, who has an issue with it's been better, as the years progress, but fumble issues. And now for this season, if we talk about bad quarterback play, Daniel Jones this past season was the epitome of bad quarterback play.
The second he got back to drop back to pass, the whole defense was there waiting for him.
I could argue. No. The numbers back it up. He's horrible at evading sacks. He has, I believe, the number 1 or number 2 pressure to sack percentage in the NFL this season. And he only played 6 games. He's 2 touchdowns to 6 picks. It wasn't good. We talk about this bad offensive line. Who looked better? Undrafted rookie Tommy DeVito? Yeah. What about veteran who can never stay healthy in Tyrod Taylor? Also yes. So we could always talk about one of the worst run blocking offensive lines, one of the worst pass blocking offensive lines, one of the worst, offensive lines just in football. Yet we saw 2 quarterbacks run the offense significantly better than Daniel Jones this season.
Yeah.
Playing essentially the same amount of games for every quarterback.
Yeah. My thinking is the Giants met with Russell Wilson at the airport in Newark. I bet they offered him a contract there, and he said no. That would be my thought. He was waiting to see what Pittsburgh would do.
I'm surprised they didn't overpay for him.
And I'm sure he thought, in looking at how the Giants are structured and how they've been the last few years, they got lucky there with the playoff team a year ago. I think he probably said, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to see what Pittsburgh's doing. And he wound up there, and we're going to talk about that next. But wow, the Giants, I really see them as being in last place this year. I don't see how they think they're going anywhere.
I'm giving a quick shout out to one of my friends when we were talking, throughout, because yesterday it was just breaking news. It was just a constant stream. That first, the first 4 hours that the tampering window was open, we heard breaking news after breaking news, maybe every 3 or 4 minutes. So we were talking about all this news, and let's just say he was very displeased with the fact that Saquon went to the rival, and also just the lack of intelligent moves by the Giants. So I know at least one person who was very displeased, and Brian Burns is a nice little spark because he's just a good player on your team, but the Giants have created themselves a even bigger hole in their offense than they already had. An unnecessary widening of a hole that needs to be fixed, which first now we go into, they still need a wide receiver. They still need a quarterback. They still need an offensive line. And they still need a running back.
Yeah, right. I'd say they downgraded at running back. I don't think Devin Singletary can hold a candle to Saquon Barkley.
No,
nowhere near.
You could argue with health, but just production-wise, when he's on the field, Saquon, and he did have a down year this year, but behind, I believe, the first or the second worst run-blocking offensive line in the league, this is a major problem. The offensive line's still bad. Tight ends, you may lose your best tight end who, even if he's still out there next season, can't stay healthy. That was the one major ding on Darren Waller is can't stay on the field. No true wide receiver. Darius Slayton's currently your wide receiver 1. Jalen Hyatt's just a fast slot guy. No true running back. And the guy who holds the ball in every play doesn't do a great job at even holding on to the ball, Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I think it could be a long season for Giants fans.
Well, if you're a fan of defense, you might look at the Giants and say they may have the best defense. You know what? There is a positive. They might have the best defensive front in the NFL.
You think so? I think Kayvon Thibodeau was a big name, but he didn't play so well last year. He didn't really play very well last year. How many sacks did he have? He only had a couple of sacks, I think.
11 and a half sacks.
Oh, yeah? 11 and a half? Yeah.
No, Kayvon Thibodeau did have a good year. And because we think about it, Chase Young's gone from the 49ers.
I think his first 6 games, he didn't have a sack.
Well, it's kind of rough when you're getting the crap beat out of you by the Cowboys and you can't really do anything because, honestly, the defense didn't really play all that much because they would get such short fields. It would be, let's jump on the field. Okay, they score in about 4 plays, and then the offense is back out there. So I'm not going to hate on the first 6 games, but honestly, that makes a better case for Kayvon. If you already lose 6 games and he played all 17, it means 11 and a half sacks in 11 games. It's pretty damn good. Pretty good.
They did upgrade their defense, and they do have a decent defense, so we'll see. But they'll be playing Patriots ball, Bill Belichick ball, trying to win games, as you said, 7-3. Yeah. That ain't going to happen.
Well, with this really good, I'm calling it the best defensive line in the NFL. You could argue Dallas, maybe. You could argue, Philly, but they're, reportedly wanting to trade a couple of their defensive linemen. New York Jets, maybe. I think there's a pretty good argument. The Giants are the best defensive line in the NFL. But then again, once again, you have no offense. So, 7-3. If you like defense, and you like vintage football, watch the New York Giants this season. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.